Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the channel here today to discuss about AEW Dynamite August 4th, 2021 review. Folks, it wasn't, one of the best Dynamites I've seen. I think the Fight for the Fallen and Fyter Fest episodes were probably better than this, but this was not a bad show at all. Compared to what we've been getting in pro wrestling on other shows, I think this was a pretty solid, entertaining show for what they gave us. It seems to me that AEW is pushing Christian Cage for a World Championship match at All Out against Kenny Omega. My thoughts on that? I guess they were going to get to it sooner or later. I mean, they might as well get it over with and get it done and have Kenny Omega retain his title against Christian Cage and be just another victim under the Kenny Omega reign as world champion. But I don't see it being a horrible match. They did the right thing. They made him build up his wins through the time he got there to the time now where we are at with the program and everything. So I'm not feeling upset about it as much as I did initially when they had him pick up the title and act like he was challenging for the world championship at fucking Double or Nothing. So I'm very thankful of that. I appreciate what AEW did with Christian Cage to make sense of this for him to challenge for the world championship. They are using the rankings as the reason to give him the world title opportunity. So in all, I'm okay with it. I'm not particularly happy that they passed up on Hangman Paige for Christian Cage to challenge for the title, which upsets me a little bit. I thought they were going to switch plans. Maybe they're switching the plan because of what might happen at September 22nd's show in front of a humongous crowd. Maybe they might have Daniel Bryan win the World Heavyweight Championship from Kenny Omega in front of a humongous crowd on a debut, in his debut. I don't know. I'm really a little lost here on what they're trying to go for. But it's a little strange. So only time can really tell where they're going with this. But as far as what I know, based on what I've seen tonight, Christian Cage will be challenging for the World Heavyweight title against Kenny Omega. So no harm, no foul there. But I'm counting on Kenny Omega to retain that world championship at All Out. Now, on to two other big matches that took place on the show. Malachi Black defeated Cody Rhodes in the main event. Folks, this was fucking amazing. Exactly how I imagined them booking this match. It was done correctly. They had Malachi Black pretty much beat the shit out of Cody Rhodes and destroyed him. He ended up hitting Black Mass, getting the 1-2-3, not by regular pinfall, but by placing his foot over his chest and pinning Cody 1-2-3. Unfucking believable. Then we felt like we were getting a heartfelt moment with Cody Rhodes about ready to announce retirement, but fortunate enough, he's not retiring. I don't believe so. Or they wouldn't have had Malachi Black come at the end of the show and hit him with a fucking crutch in the back. So chances are this match will be taking place again at All Out, more than likely, because of what Malachi Black did. In that case, I would give Malachi Black another win and put him down permanently, giving him a severe concussion, putting him out of action. May even could say he's done with pro wrestling at this point. You could also do something like that. That would be a very impressive idea to put him off television for a while. if that's what they want to go with. For all we know, maybe this is their way of taking him off of television. He comes back many months later after he got a chance to be with his kid and his wife and spend time with them. Maybe that's the whole purpose of this whole matchup that they just did here tonight. If that's the case, kudos to them. That's fine with me. Personally, I'm fine either way, because honestly, if Cody Rhodes is going to put Malachi Black in this type of light and make him look this dominant, Cody's doing the right thing by using his name and his, status in the company to put over a guy like this who had an in-ring debut match. An in-ring debut match, and made him look great in defeating one of the biggest names in AEW, one of the founders of this company, besides Tony Khan being the owner, along with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. He did a great job for Malachi Black. Unbelievable work. If anyone deserves a round of applause on selling Malachi Black's in-ring work, it's Cody Rhodes. Everybody shouldn't hate on this guy or boo this guy. He did the most right thing you could possibly do with a guy like him at his status. Bottom line, this guy deserves all of our respect. He busted his ass. He took a lot of the punishment. People have been booing him out his ass, making him look like he's a John Cena or a Triple H type of guy, trying to steal the spotlight. He did not do any of that. He did exactly what I said they needed to do for Malachi Black, and that's Malachi Black kick Cody Rhodes' ass, which is exactly what they did. Terrific job for Cody. Unbelievable. He's got massive respect from me for doing what he did here tonight. What he did at the end of the promo, the end of the show, was amazing. I felt like it was real. He was really retiring. Malachi Black cleared all that information up for us with the fucking, crutch in the back. So great stuff by both of these guys. Excellent work. Great main event, most importantly. We also had Chris Jericho and Juventud Guerrera go one-on-one in a match. Unfortunately, this was not exactly what I was looking forward to. Juventud Guerrero was not performing at the same level I remember back in the 90s and the mid-2000s when he was with Mexico. I might be a little bit harsh here by saying that and being a little unfair, and I guess you guys could say that. I won't deny that. But if you're not at a high level like you were once before, you shouldn't be there. That's how I feel. I don't think he did terrible, but he definitely showed a lot of ring rust. I will admit that. Was he in shape? Somewhat. In between. He wasn't looking like he was a lump of shit, but he wasn't exactly in the greatest of shape that I remember him in. But again, I might be a little unfair here judging him by the fact that he's been at a pro wrestling on television for a very long while, since I think last time he performed in front of a live audience was like in 2006 or 2007, which is the only time I've really seen the guy. He might have wrestled in Mexico in front of that crowd, but I don't watch Mexican wrestling, so I wouldn't know from that. So if that's the case, then my apologies to him and to anyone that have seen him perform live in front of an audience recently. But yeah, the match was, it was okay. It wasn't the best match in the world. Jericho won the match by doing a Judas effect from the top rope down to the ring, and connecting, and then getting the 1-2-3 on Juventud Guerrera. The action was back and forth, pretty evenly matched. They did some good stuff here and there, but there was some spots that I thought was very terrible looking. For example, it looked like Juventud Guerrero was going for a Hurricanrana from the top rope outside to the floor, and unfortunately he kind of fucked up, didn't get his body turned good enough to wrap his legs around Jericho's head, and he kind of just did like a Jeff Hardy maneuver that they the poetry, I think it's called the poetry in motion. Yeah, the poetry in motion, where Matt Hardy would put his back up so that Jeff Hardy could use his back to step up and then kind of cross his body over and hit his opponents with the side of his body and his legs. That's kind of what this looked like. They landed against the steel railing, and that was pretty much that spot overall. I mean, I didn't particularly think that was very much like Juventud Guerrero to do that kind of stuff at all. He kind of changed it up a bit because he knew he wasn't going to hit the move correctly, so to play it safe, he kind of just threw his body to the side, which usually I'm not used to seeing him do. I mean, he usually would land to the outside of the ring, wrap his legs around his opponent, and do the Hurricanrana, which he did not do at all. So that was a little disappointing. After the match, though, there was some interesting stuff that took place here. Wardlow attacked Jericho. No room for even a breather at this point for Jericho. And next week, I believe it was announced for next week's show, Wardlow is going to be facing Jericho in a special guest referee match, with MJF being that referee. Now, if you guys remember back in the Attitude Era, they had matches where they would stack the deck against the fucking good guy and have the lead bad guy of the role that they're facing their opponent, who is a face, as a special guest referee, and that the good guy character, the face, would actually struggle through most of the match and then somehow, some way, figure out a way to win the match by having a legit referee show up after the current referee, which was the heel ref, or heel bad guy, playing the special ref, and he gets knocked out and the referee comes in to make the legit count to get the 1, 2, 3. So I could imagine something like that happening. I could imagine Wardlow gets disqualified, maybe. That could be a possibility that takes place. You don't know. They might do something innovative that has not been done before. If they do that, that'll be very cool to see. I don't know what they could do that hasn't been done before. I mean, unless you have Jericho accidentally knock out MJF, or Wardlow hits MJF by mistake with a clothesline and MJF's knocked out, and then you just have Jericho hit the Judas effect and then pin him, and he just uses MJF's arm and makes him count the 1, 2, 3, and they give it to him that way. They've done that before with Steve Austin against Mick Foley, with Vince McMahon as a special guest referee in Over the Edge 98. You guys are probably saying to yourselves, how the fuck can he remember all that shit? I live and breathe wrestling, man. This is my fucking shit. Outside of professional football, this is what I enjoy the most outside of watching movies, music, and freaking football, man. I live and breathe this shit 24/7. I live it to the max. And I know my shit and I know my history. So, you guys want to ask me a question that deals with the 80s, 90s, all the way up to now? By all means ask. I'd be more than happy to answer it. I mean, I'm not 100% certain on every fucking answer. I mean, if you want to go far back to the 80s, I may not know the answers to every question. But if you guys want to ask me questions from the 90s all the way up to now, man, I'll be able to probably answer it more than likely 90% out of the time and get it right. So, by all means, if you would like to ask me a question, comments down below about something that you want to test me on, try me. I guarantee 90% out of 9 out of 10, I'll probably get it right. Not the best talker in the world, but I know my fucking shit. Anyway, Lucha Brothers are with Alex Abrantes, And Alex notes that Pac should be with them, but travel issues occurred again. This is probably an issue about the COVID-19 problem with traveling, so they have not been able to allow him to get back to the States, which kind of sucks. So basically, this leaves Rey Fenix and Pentagon Jr. to be very unhappy with the comments that were made. Andrade and Chavo enter. They talk about how these problems won't happen. They saddle up with Andrade, and that's a no for Andrade, as Chavo assures him they'll come around. Nothing big there. Tony Schiavone, he actually was extremely busy on this episode. I think he had about 4 segments where he did interviews with people in the middle of the ring or backstage. And he was backstage with the Dark Order. They're about to address their loss last week when Hangman enters in the picture. He is sorry he cost them their shot last week. Silver tells him that isn't the case. Hangman says he's got to fly solo. Hangman walks off as Evil Uno encourages everyone to give Adam his space at that point in time. The next match on the card was a 6-man tag team match with Matt Lee and Jeff Parker, formerly known as Everrise. They're calling themselves 2.0. And they were with Daniel Garcia in a 6-man tag team match against Darby Allin, Jon Moxley, and Eddie Kingston, with Sting on the outside as a general manager, like a manager or some shit like that. Nothing special here, man. Jon Moxley, Darby Allin, and Kingston win this match. Moxley hits the paradigm shift, then tags in Darby Allin to do the coffin drop and get the 1, 2, 3. Another victory under the belt. I got to admit, if they're not going with Hangman Page to win the title from Kenny Omega, would you guys be opposed to the idea of Darby Allin be the next guy in line to win the World Championship? Because quite frankly, outside of losing the TNT Championship and that handicap match he had with fucking Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, he hasn't done nothing but win. That's all he's done. He's won constantly. That's all this guy's been doing. Outside of 2 losses he had, he's been beating everybody. And besides that, Ethan Page, I don't know what the fuck's happened to him or Scorpio Sky. They magically just disappear off the face of the earth. What, did Tony Khan decide, hey, fuck them? They really just did, their purpose was to help get Darby Allin over? Was that the reason for all that? Because I don't know about you guys, but I haven't noticed Ethan Page or Scorpio Sky at all doing anything, not even making appearances on the show. They kind of feel like how some of the guys with WWE are. Which is not a good sign. I'm not saying that Tony Khan's anything like that. God help us. But, I mean, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky ain't a big draw or anything, or going to break people's, liking towards AEW because they ain't got them on television. But they were doing some interesting things with Darby Allin. I kind of liked what they were doing. Since that coffin match, they haven't done nothing, which kind of is a little bit troubling to me. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Maybe you guys don't give a rat's ass. If that's the case, fine. Another person that I'm a little concerned with that's not been on television a lot lately, he was on television, but he was playing a manager role, was Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy has some beef still to work out with Kenny Omega. He never got a one-on-one match. He got screwed out of that triple threat match at Double or Nothing in May. So why doesn't this guy get an opportunity for the world title? I mean, I understand the rankings mean something. Christian Cage is the number 1 contender now that he had a win here tonight. But at the end of the day, guys, where does Orange Cassidy get his revenge and redemption from getting screwed out of the world title in May? I don't understand that one. Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin, I really feel should be the focal point of AEW's future superstars. to be quite frank with you. I understand they're not tall dudes. I know they're not, bulky like a Brian Cage. Brian Cage is definitely a guy they could start building up into a mega star as well, into a main event world champion caliber performer. He's definitely got the look to play that role, most definitely. So, I mean, with him being torn away from Team Taz, he might have that opportunity at this point, now that he's no longer with them, which was brought up in a segment, which I actually am looking forward to seeing what Brian Cage can do by himself without having this faction group he was part of. I don't find Team Taz to be anything worth shit, to be quite frank with you. I think they're the worst faction ever built, outside of maybe a few other factions that have come into professional wrestling in the past, but that's about it, man. So, on that. But, yeah, Brian Cage, he should be interesting. He might be an interesting draw at this point now that he's no longer with Team Taz. The Elite were backstage. Doc Gallows offers Dark Order a shot at the Impact Tag Team titles next week, which I found a little surprising. They didn't win their match to challenge for the AEW Tag Team titles, so why the fuck would they even earn a shot for the Impact World Tag Team titles? It's kind of fucking stupid. You're kind of devaluing your Impact Tag Team titles when they were trying to go after the AEW Tag Team titles. It's kind of fucking stupid. But whatever. I mean, if we get to see the Dark Order challenge for the Impact Tag titles, I mean, on AEW Dynamite, that should be pretty interesting. Pretty cool. So, they're definitely leaving a lot of doors open. NWA's been involved with the NWA Women's Championship belt, which was brought to everybody's attention later on tonight in this episode. So, I mean, we had a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of different moving parts, and some good stuff here. Christian Cage versus The Blade. Christian Cage won this match, like I said earlier in this review. He is now the #1 contender for the World Championship. It's not been confirmed yet if he's going to challenge for the World Championship at All Out, but more than likely, based on the assumption that they made the announcement, I would assume that is going to take place. So there was a video package of Santana and Ortiz furthering their feud with FTR. Cash Wheeler is a little, Dax Hardwood is upset about what happened to Cash Wheeler. He's kind of, concerned about his partner. He was worried that he was going to die from the cut that he had on his arm, which I didn't know he had at all. I thought maybe he just injured his knee or some shit, or arm. Fortunately, it was a huge gash on his arm. He could have died and whatnot, and fortunate enough they were able to get him some help on that injury as soon as possible so that he wouldn't have bled to death. So thank goodness for that. Bottom line though, this is going to be interesting to see where they go from here with these two teams. The tag team division right now in AEW has been a little bit stale, if you really want to get technical here. They haven't been highlighting the tag team division. It's been more about individuals more than anything else, which I'm a bit surprised. A lot of their wrestling has been based on tag team wrestling, which is one of the most important things they highlighted when they first started. Now it's been more along the lines of the World Championship, the TNT title, and stuff like that, which is great. But I also liked what they were doing with the tag titles. They were making it feel as if it was a a main event title that they could have presented on the show in the main event. Like, let's say you had a pay-per-view, you didn't want to have a World Championship match, you could make the tag team titles as the main event of the show. So that's how I was viewing it. Anyway, let's move on here. We had Britt Baker be interviewed by Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone, man, like I said earlier, he was interviewing like fucking crazy tonight. Britt Baker, she's a very confusing character. 1 minute the woman's playing a face, the next minute she's playing a heel. I don't know what to fucking believe about this chick. Outside of she's great on the microphone, and she has gotten better in the ring. But outside of that, I don't know. She has some identity crisis. Really, to be quite frank with you guys, man. She seems like she has a severe identity crisis. 1 minute this woman's fighting fair. The next minute she's going ahead and fighting dirty. So what the fuck is going on here with this chick? She had Red Velvet come out, challenge her for her AEW Women's Championship. She's went 22-4. Last time they fought, she was just starting out. She got defeated in 3 minutes by Britt Baker. And now she wants revenge. With the record of 22-4, you can't really deny her of the opportunity to challenge for the women's title. So Red Velvet is getting a shot for the title. It's going to take place on the debut episode of Rampage, which probably will be the main event of the show. That's what I would imagine it would be, since it's a world championship in the women's division. So that might be the case. But afterwards, when they made the agreement to do the match, Reba went ahead and tried to hit her with a fucking crutch. A lot of crutch being used around here in the show tonight. I don't know what the fuck that was about, but I just kind of realized that. 2 crutch segments where the face is getting smacked in the back with a crutch. But yeah, that's what happened to Red Velvet. She got a crutch in the back, and then a not so good curb stomp, to be honest with you guys. She did it half-assed. I think Seth Rollins would be extremely upset. I wouldn't be surprised right now if Seth Rollins is getting online on social media and complaining about that, going, "You disrespecting the curb stomp that I made famous." I wouldn't be surprised him doing that. Not one single bit. He always seems to piss off his audience anyway, so he probably would do that as well, insulting one of the most liked women in pro wrestling right now. So, wouldn't be shocked by that. Next we had Hangman Paige in the ring. Holy shit. With Tony Schiavone again. This is the 3rd interview. He then interviewed Cody Rhodes at the end, but was let go out of the interview to have Cody ultimately try to finish it. And like I said, he got whacked from behind by Malachi Black. So, basically, Hangman Page is in the ring with Tony. The Elite interrupt. Hangman says that there's something that he's needed to say to them for quite a while. Kenny says for them all to take a step in the ring for a sec. And then Kenny sees what he's trying to take his title, make new friends, or try to play rejoin. To rejoin the Elite. That's the last thing he wants to do, he says. Okay, and Kenny calls him a tryhard, just like all the fans. Kenny says they've actually thought about forgiving him, but he doesn't fit the bill. Cowboy or not, the Elite does not have losers on their team. They've won nothing but championships in their respective division. So Hangman slaps him, and Elite gang up on him, and Magic Killer by the Good Brothers Dark Order come out, but Uno and Grayson hold them back to honor and respect the wishes of Hangman Page. The Bucks hit 3 BTE triggers on Hangman, and Kaz comes out, but he's actually thrown out of the ring like a pile of garbage. And they take him out, and Kenny holds the title in Hangman's face to ultimately smash the title into his head, knocking him unconscious. So that is pretty much that. We also hear from Dan Lambert formerly was on the television show of Dynamite a while back with America's Top Team. He was upset about what happened earlier this year with the attack that was done to him. So he wants payback for what happened, and he's going to bring some backup with him next week. That should be interesting. Nothing like a little MMA mixed in with professional wrestling. Always like that kind of shit, because MMA brings a little realism to pro wrestling. And that's why Ronda Rousey worked in the women's division of WWE. Hands down, no doubt about it. Tnt Championship match was next. Miro won this match against Lee Johnson near the end. Lee Johnson looked like he was going to make a rally to win the title. Unfortunately, he was put in game over in a camel clutch and was reared back on his... he was reared all the way back in a camel clutch and ultimately passed out. The referee called the match, and that was that. During the match, I will admit this was actually a very interesting sign. A fan posted on the wall while he was holding the sign that read this: "Dear God, please tell your favorite champion not to kill Lee Johnson." There was a little bit of extra stuff, I believe, was written underneath that. I'm not sure. I didn't get to read the whole entire thing, but that was priceless. That was fucking priceless. If you did not see the sign, go ahead, go to that match. There's an orange sign that a person's holding. It's on the left-hand side of your screen looking directly at it, and it's on the left-hand side. You will see it, and you can pause that shit and actually read it. And at certain points, the camera actually gives you a good visual of what it says so that you can fully read it. So if you were to pause it, if you've DVR'd it, pause it right when you see it really well, and pause, and you'll be able to read the entire thing. And my God, just that little bit I read on that fucking sign was excellent. I absolutely was cracking up laughing seeing that shit. It was fucking hilarious, man. My God, that was hilarious. Dear God, please don't have your champion kill Lee Johnson. That was fucking great, man. Oh, man, that was funny. Oh, shit. So, like I said earlier, Christian Cage is now the #1 contender. Layla Hirsch and the Bunny are going one-on-one against each other for a #1 contendership. Hey, Layla Hirsch picks up the victory here and is going to challenge Camille for the NWA Women's Championship. This should be a very interesting match. The size difference is unbelievable. It's like looking at Daniel Bryan versus Triple H almost. It is that fucking different in size. Or maybe like The Big Show versus Rey Mysterio if you want to really get overblown with the comparison in height. But yeah, it's like David versus Goliath here. Very unreasonable disadvantage in height. Camille overshadows her double the size. It's fucking unbelievable. #1. #2, Layla Hirsch could pull this off, but I doubt it. Camille actually became the NWA Women's Champion. The last time I remember NWA Women's Champion on AEW Dynamite, it was Serena Deeb. So she probably recently lost that championship to Camille. So I'd imagine Camille is going to retain the title, and Layla Hirsch again is going to lose at an opportunity trying to capture the NWA Women's Championship, which I think is a little unfair. Because Layla Hirsch, she may be small as fuck, but she is a fantastic wrestler. She can do shit in that ring that most people can't do. If she really wanted to, she got down to business and learned every little bit of things that you need to learn in MMA. She probably could be an MMA fighter. More than likely, because she can do submission holds that a lot of MMA fighters pull off in the octagon. So I mean, if she really wanted to make a career change and she wanted to go for another type of sport, MMA would definitely work for her. I think she'd get away with it and she would succeed more than likely because she can grapple very well. Following that was the main event, which I already discussed. Malachi Black defeats Cody Rhodes in a one-sided victory, with Cody getting a little bit of offense in, but not much, and gets black masked and then pinned with a boot on his chest for a 1-2-3. And reiterating what I said before, he tries to do a shoot retirement speech and ultimately gets destroyed from behind with the crutch and puts him flat on his face. And that's how the show goes off the air. So, overall, good stuff in the beginning, good stuff at the end. Middle, the matches were okay, nothing special. A lot of good moving parts here. Brian Cage, like I said earlier, could become a main event player. You never know. Not Cody Rhodes. Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin, two guys that have a lot of potential to become main events on this brand of pro wrestling. Or promotion, I should say. But, yeah, I honestly see a lot of good, positive, moving parts in this. Even with if they didn't even get CM Punk and not Darby Allin, if they didn't get CM Punk and Daniel Bryan added to this roster, folks, I don't think they even need them. They're doing stuff that is fucking amazing. Personally, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan are like a fucking, frosting on the top of the cake, man. These guys are doing amazing stuff with this younger talent that nobody is even familiar with. And in the last 2 years, guys like Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin are being pushed to the fucking moon, man. Now, Orange Cassidy, I will admit, I said this earlier in the video, they've kind of went off on him. He's kind of like fell off the rails here. But they could instantly put him right back where he was, and people would remember him just like that and love him to death. The guy had, a couple of weeks ago, was doing a segment with Sting, and people were loving the shit out of it with him tapping Sting's legs, and they were tapping each other's legs like they were trying to hurt each other. They were just goofing off with one another. It was fucking hilarious. And that's the kind of comedy that we're looking for. Like comedy here and there, not comedy all the time. I mean, this is not a comedy show. We don't got, Richard Pryor and George Carlin doing stand-up comedy here. This is pro wrestling. Yeah, I'm just naming off two of the biggest names in fucking stand-up comedy in comedy in history. So, if you guys aren't familiar with those two guys, go check them out. They're great comics. Comedians, whatever you want to call them. But bottom line, I mean, if they didn't even sign CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, they are already setting up for the future. That is how good this company is. Honestly, and by the way, Adam Cole, baby, he ain't re-signed with WWE yet. He's got all the way up until SummerSlam weekend. If they have not signed him, Kyle O'Reilly's going to kick his ass, and then we probably ain't going to see him again, and he's going to sign with AEW. And for all you know, folks, I'm telling you, man, for all we know, if he doesn't have a 90-day compete clause on his contract, because I think if you lived out your contract, you don't have that 90-day compete. It's only if you get fired or released from the company or some shit like that. I believe he's able to just go wherever he wants after his contract expired. I'm not sure. I might be wrong about that. But if there is no 90-day compete because he lived out his contract here and because he re-signed for a 1-month contract, which I don't think the 1-month contracts enclose a 90-day compete clause, he can go wherever the hell he wants. For all we know, Adam Cole could show up on fucking all out. on September 5th. I mean, this could possibly turn into a fucking wild event. You want to talk about the title All Out? They're living up to the fucking name, man. This is some crazy shit. I mean, I know that what I'm saying is a little far-fetched. I don't think Adam Cole is going to show up at All Out. I think I'm kind of over-exaggerating and, you know, getting a little too excited and ahead of myself. But that is a possibility as long as there's no 90-day compete from the 1 month contract extension he did. I mean, honestly, who in their right mind thinks Adam Cole is going to re-sign with WWE, seeing all his former members he worked with in NXT get buried the way they've been buried, and think that Adam Cole is going to come out of NXT looking the same way he was on NXT? You got to be crazy. You got to be out of your fucking bonkers to think Vince McMahon is going to do that for Adam Cole while everyone else he's brought up from NXT has not done anything. And he doesn't seem to give a shit. He ain't looking to build stars. It's all about Roman Reigns. Yes, Roman Reigns, a beloved superstar who's doing amazing things as a heel, but I am telling you folks, the whole thing is a joke with Roman Reigns. He's a lovable and believable character the way he's portrayed, but it's all about Vince feeding him and making him the most important thing, because once this company is done, it ain't going to matter anymore. Because once he sells that company off, there ain't no more caring about making stars, because he ain't looking to make stars. He's looking to make that big payday at the end of the day. He's looking for that rainbow with the little Irish leprechaun going ahead and going, "Here's your gold, Vincey! Here you go! Take the gold!" You know? Some shit like that. Whatever. I'm just being fucking retarded at this point. Anyway, at this time, guys, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you guys very much for watching. And I hope you have a great night. By the way, about Impact Homecoming, I will be uploading that video tomorrow. I did have a chance to watch the entire pay-per-view today, so I didn't get a chance around to do the actual review on Impact Homecoming, so I will definitely get that taken care of tomorrow, upload it, give you guys my opinions on it, and I will speak to you again tomorrow, and hope you guys stay safe, and catch you again later. Bye.